What's up, y'all? I am Steph Jackson, and I normally come on about 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. Obviously, it is about an hour past that. It's been a very long day, but hey, I made a commitment to come on here and talk to y'all. And it's a lot happening, right? I come out of the world of sports. I'm a former athlete. I have now kind of dipped my toe back in there. And I'm like, so what y'all been doing these past few years? What's up? And I think that what I have seen in sports and what is happening is that sports has kind of tried to, and I think athletes think that we kind of live in this bubble, right? Yes, we have certain privileges as athletes, that other humans don't have, but things affect us, right? Like the world at large. There's no like real life NBA bubble for athletics. Okay. When there's a new president, there are new policies. Um, and it just is what it is, right? You athletes making all kind of political statements, things of that nature, not going to the White House. They don't like the president, yada, 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 ish, boom, bah, whatever. So, what's happening right now in sports and the policies that are affecting sports mainly, and this is kind of an area that I do hit on, is this whole transgender issue in women's sports. Okay. I did a reel and a short that said, save women's sports from men, dot, 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 who think that they're women. Okay. So it's very clear where I stand. Okay. As a former athlete who comes out of women's football, and I can tell y'all some crazy stories. Okay. One of them being one of my old buddies who played for this team up in Memphis. Great. I mean, she's a great athlete. But she was telling me about the time that they literally had to play a man. Okay. Now, this is a dude, I mean, like a dude who identified as a girl, but like homeboy wasn't even hiding the fact that he was a dude, right? He was basically like a gay dude who wanted to play with the girls. Here's the problem with that. The problem with that was that you're still a dude, right? It reminds me of Kindergarten Cop, that this old movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the little boy looked up and said, "Did you know that boys have penises and girls have vaginas?" In the simplest of terms, okay? And it was very hilarious, but it's like, do we know that? All right. So, in talking about that, we now have a current president who, soon as he got in office, like within the first, I don't even know if it was a full 48 hours, he immediately signed an executive order and said, "Hey, we are only acknowledging two genders, male, female, man, woman, all the extra stuff. Y'all can do what y'all want at the house, but when y'all here, y'all a man or a woman." Okay. So what does this have to do with sports? So this only really touched women's sports, because I'm just gonna tell y'all. It wasn't no woman or no chick that now said she was a dude who was out there trying to play for the NFL. None. You're not gonna find one. Now you will find women, and I've played with women who actually have played with men, because at a point in women's football, we didn't have our own league. Or you have girls still today who play high school sports, um and those sports, they allow girls to play with the guys, which is fine, right? We like, it's nothing like inherently wrong with that, because let's take football for an example, because you can't blanket this, only because one, there's no tackle football team that's comparable for girls in high school or any like great, at least grade school sports. unless now we talk about the advent of flag football, but that's not it's still a different sport and distinct sport from tackle football, right? And so you have that. And so what am I saying? Oh, okay, yeah. So people try to make a blanket statement and say, okay, well, if guys now can't play in girl sports, or transgender guys who think that now they were born dudes, but now they think males, but now they think they're females. If they're banned from playing in girl sports and women's sports, then now you got to ban the girls who want to play football from playing on their all male football team, right? Now, I would otherwise agree with this because, it seems logical. The problem is what I said before. There is no comparable team for girls in tackle football when we're at schools. It's just none. Now we have flag football, which if you talk to anybody who had a conversation with me from like 2017 to 2020, will tell you that I've always been of the opinion, and I've always said that flag football is going to far outpace women's tackle football. Because one, in women's tackle football, the women they're more masculine and they try to mimic the men. Now, one thing about American sports fans, especially men, they don't want to see a less athletic males league. They got the NFL, they got NCAA. What they do want to see, and it has been shown in the popularity of flag football, is they want to see very athletic women, right? Like when a woman dunk, they be like, "Dang, that girl dunked." When a dude dunk, yeah, it's razzle dazzle, but it's a little special when a girl dunk because it's like this is a girl doing it, right? So when we talk about tackle football, though, like we got on, you got on the helmets, and you can't really tell. It's not readily discernible that a girl is now making these plays. But when you got flag, straight up, these kids out here in, you know, bust downs, the long boho knotless braids, you know what I'm saying, lashes, looking cute and doing people in. I mean, one handed spin move, uh the foot drag, like, I mean, ball hawks, like, but that it's readily discernible that these are girls and women actually doing this stuff. And so men be more impressed to know that, yo, this is a very athletic female. A woman is doing these things. Like, that's crazy. This stuff we only see dudes play. Like, growing up, the highest compliment a dude could give a female athlete was like, bruh, you play like a dude. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now I know feminists gonna be like, why can't she play like a girl? But it's like, if guys are more athletic and they are kind of the pinnacle of athleticism, when you do have a girl who exudes these, like, the same kind of athletic abilities, now it's like, yo, she play like a dude, but she looked like a girl. I don't know what to do with that. I remember growing up, dude, like anytime I cross somebody over in basketball, like the biggest way to get respect from a dude was to like do him in a sport. It's crazy. Like, y'all wouldn't even believe if I was like growing up, if I was like on boys like that, I could have so many little boyfriends. Every time I crossed the guy up and scored, he fell in love. It was just the weirdest thing. That's why when Love and Basketball came out, it was very outrageous. Somebody asked me if I was going to prom with Spalding. Just so stupid. So stupid. Um, but so yeah, you had that. Okay. And that's just the God's honest truth about what's happening in women's sports. And the main problem with the transgender, transsexual issue in women's sports is that okay, allowing this, now you don't have women's sports. If you would have kept allowing that and we would have kept going, we would no longer have had the distinct thing that is women's sports. We would have just had men who think they're women's sports. Like, women would have got way more athletic. Why? Because these are actually dudes that went through puberty as dudes and now feel like they're female, so they take estrogen. And I'm just gonna tell you, as much as intelligent and as smart as humans are, as amazing as God made us, there is no amount of surgery, hormones, what have you, that can now change the actual physiology of a male to then equal him to female. So they try to do like this testosterone test and have lower testosterone, you know, they can do that scientifically, but when you study the male and female body, they're different. Like our hips are wider set. Why? Because we have birth canals. Like we were actually made to bear children. Like no matter how slim you are, how much you might work out, when your body realizes that it's now carrying another human, it widens. Like men quite naturally have a more narrow torso. They have fast twitch muscles. Is You can't slow those down compared to women. Like it's just anatomically and physiologically, it's just not doable to undo what God has already done. We've tried it, right? The Olympic Committee get in more trouble than anybody around the world. The track and field committee, like I think what's homegirl name or homeboy is at this point I feel like Joanna Man. Like homeboy and Joanna Man. He was very confused about the end of the movie. He's like, Joanna Man, am I a man? Joanna, are you a man? Right? Like so feel a little um let's just say the runner caster what's her name, Seminia, the y'all know who I'm talking about, the South African runner. Okay, she's actually still in court. I think at the time that she was winning 800 championship gold, she won 800 championship gold back when she was like 18. I think this was in, was it the Rio 2016 Olympics? She was like 18 years old, y'all. Um, she won a couple of gold medals, I think. And then people were like, that's a dude. So the Olympic Committee and who was that? The IAAF, the International, I think it's the International, I probably get this wrong, Amateur Athletic Federation. The International, what's the IAAF stand for, y'all? IAAF. Well, now they're just called the World Athletics. Okay. So what happened with her was that she wins these gold medals, right? I mean, I'm not going by outside appearance because some women do have masculine like bone structures and facial structures, especially when we get very lean and you kind of get that, sucked in look. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know. Um, anyway, she do look like a dude, but that's not why I'm saying all this. But anyway, let me just tell you what happened. So she wins these gold medals and she automatically gets called in for testing. Now, I don't think they handled it correctly, honestly. I honestly, in the first place, don't think she should have been competing. I'm gonna tell you why. So, and this is all public knowledge because She instituted a lawsuit and all that stuff. Okay. But anyway, so they test her and she fails like the sex determination test. So there's a test called the bar test, right? So in the bar test, we have what we call chromosomes that determine our DNA, right? Determine male, female. Your skin will be brown, your skin will be peach, your hair will be curly, your hair will be straight, all this. Your eyes will be blue, your eyes will be brown, that sort of thing, right? So in women, our chromosomes, right, are we have XX chromosomes. Men have XY chromosomes. I'm just gonna make sure that's right. Yeah, XX chromosome. I don't want to give y'all no misinformation, but anyway, so she came out with XY chromosomes. Now, for me, that's the end of it, right? Like, but she was classified as intersex. What does that mean, Steph? Okay. Intersex means that while you have the chromosomes for, let's say you have uh X chromosome, so then okay, you're a female, but your private area, your genitalias are different than other people. Not saying that you got like a dick or nothing, but saying that like your female parts may be bigger, like the clitoris may be bigger than other women. You have a womb like women, but your facial features, your testosterone might be higher. So you might have a more chiseled face, right? You may actually get facial hair. Some women get full beards, right? And so, but by biological sex, you're a woman. In her case, his case, I saw her in a magazine, y'all. Like she had, matter of fact, she had her hair almost like this, and they had her dressed up. Now I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna tell you in her case. Okay, so in her case, the chromosome test comes back and she's like XY. Okay, but she has like female, I'm not even gonna say female parts. I don't want to get all into her business. Let's just say there were outward female features about her, okay, that made her then classify as a female. I don't think she had like, y'all, I don't want to put this girl business out, but it's in open court, whatever. Um, anyway, she had, I don't want to get this wrong. Simyama. So that's what I don't get, y'all. She was assigned female at birth, and she has XY chromosome. That's man. That's male. For some reason, the doctors assign her as a female at birth, though. So, for whatever reason, I don't want to be talking about what she got down there, but the doctors assign her as a female at birth. So, because she has XY chromosome, meaning male, biological male, her testosterone was higher. So, men after puberty, their testosterone levels are exponentially higher than women's. Okay. So they were like, hey, you failed the sex determination test, you're a dude. Matter of fact, in court, they call her a dude, like a man. And she said that was very hurtful. And I'm sure she's been living as a female all her life, although she's biologically a male, XY chromosomes, right? And so what do you do in that case? They assigned her as a female at birth. I don't know what South Africa was thinking. I don't know if her parents paid to be assigned. There's a lot going on, right? Like, it's a lot. But anyway, so they assigned her as female at birth, and she wins all these races. She's got higher testosterone. If you look at her body, it looks like a lean dude's body. It's just what it is. Okay. Because she's assigned female at birth, but has male biological characteristics. She's producing higher forms of testosterone. So they put her through all of these I say her because they assign her a female at birth. Okay. I'm not into calling dudes who actually dudes women. They just they assigned this girl at birth. Anyway, so they put her through all of these very rigorous, very intrusive sex determination tests, just all kinds of stuff. And then they forced her to first they wanted her to get a surgery to drain her testosterone levels. That is just the wildest thing to me. Like, how can somebody, right? Like, how can they do that to your body? Like, I'm not down with all the transgender, transsexual stuff, but this girl got assigned as a female at birth. She's lived her life as a female, right? So the IAAF is like, or the World Athletics is what they are called now. They are like, we want you to get the surgery to drain your testosterone. And she's like, what? Y'all can't make me get surgery to drain testosterone. No. So then they say, okay, well, then you have to take these hormone pills or you can't compete. Unfortunately, the hormone pills were terrible. They had terrible side effects for her, right? So, like, not just physical side effects, but she started having like emotional side effects because hormones influence emotion. That's why during that time of month, everybody be talking about women be turning into dragons. I think during that time of month, it's just that women are just more sensitive. And so things that wouldn't otherwise bother women, it's like the tolerance is usually here, but it's here now. So chill. Anyway, they bar her, and then she's taking these pills, and they're like, you got to get your testosterone levels down to like a 2 or 2.5, something like that. So I'm like, well, where was her testosterone levels before? Because she definitely at birth is biologically an XY dude. So I'm not understanding what's happening. Anyway, that was a controversy with her. This started back in like the mid 2010s, something like that. And I think she's still in court now trying to get them to lift the ban, which is wild because in the first place, if she was like an XY dude, why would you let her get this far and compete anyway? You was gonna let it slide until she won a couple of gold medals, and people start complaining. And I just wonder this: the women in sport who label themselves as feminists, and they say that they're allies with like these transgender women and transsexual women and all that. And it's like, really? Like, you want to compete against the dude that and look, they have done test after test after test. You're gonna have to look at PubMed and all that. Where they can account for the scientific levels of estrogen to testosterone. But what they cannot account for is the natural ability for a male to physically outperform a female on the same level. They can never account for that. What makes a man, what biological factors can we lead to that makes a man be able to, let's say, dunk and windmill and do all this other stuff, as opposed to a woman being able to do it at the same height? Like, what right? What makes you know, right? Like men out here running 4-1, 4-2s, and I'm sure some of the top women athletes probably could get that. But on average, you know, what's making the male athlete more athletic than the female athlete? And that is just a conundrum that we have not been able to solve. And uh, partially thanks to the President Trump, we ain't got to solve it now, right? So these are things that directly affect the sports world, right? And now we just gotta wait and see, like, what's the Olympic Committee gonna do? What is the World Athletics, what they gonna do, right? America done said, hey, we only doing two genders now, right? But to be honest, we opened this can. Now, how we gonna put it back in? Can we put it back in? Like, is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know. But my humble opinion is that there be a complete ban from Pee-wee to the pros, private and federal, public and private, right? You get private dollars, you get federal dollars. There be a complete ban on any natal, meaning natural born male competing in women's sports, period. The whole existence of women's sports is to level the playing field for women to then compete fairly and not have to compete against men. So why threaten that existence by now allowing natal men who now identify as women, no matter how many drugs they take, to now compete in women's sports? I think at the heart of the argument is just like very like legit. It's not fair. It's physically unfair. Okay. Now it's hilarious that a bunch of men are trying to, like, there are men who are like, I'm an ally. And it's like, well, bro, you come go across the middle and get hit by Ray Lewis. Because why you want me to do it? Right? Like, it's like Saquon Barkley showing up to your YMCA championship flag football game, bro, every year, and you losing every year. And then you crying saying he an NFL player. How you think we feel? Something to think about. So now that there has been a ban, and so apparently as of now, and this is probably going to be old news, but it is about 11:30, January 27th, the year of our Lord 2025. 25 states have some kind of, I think, what is it, 23 states? I think it's 25 states have some kind of ban on transgender athletes in, like, let's just say women's sports, right? They banned them from playing, right, women's sports. Okay. Um and now we talking about like the school level, high school level. We're not even talking about like rec leagues. We're not talking about like private sector things. Like, we ain't even talking about that, right? 23 of the states have some type of regulation in place. Two of the states are like, nah, y'all good. Have fun, go play. Right. So it'll be very interesting to see what the states do, because we know when the Fed bans something, this is how it goes. The federal feds pass a law. The states can do everything under this law as long as they don't transgress this law. Okay. So it'll be really up to the states to say, all right, guys, how y'all gonna handle this? because you got very liberal states like New York and just outrageously liberal and progressive states like California and then Minnesota and things of that nature. Then you have states like Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, in some in Florida in some instances that are just like no, now and forever, no. Right? So then other states are just kind of caught in the middle and it's like, what do we do about this? Yeah. So it'll be very interesting. What I propose is that we ban it, period. Let's get back to like men in men's sports, women in women's sports. And if there's no comparable sport for a woman to play, if she makes the team in a man's sport, it is what it is, right? It's already a disadvantage. What y'all mad about? What the only time there has ever been an issue with a woman actually playing with the men is when she actually wins. Then that's a problem. Because what I realize is men don't stray too far from the little boys in elementary school, right? They don't want to get beat by a girl. How do I know this? Been playing with men, been playing sports with men since I was a kid, right? And I've coached against men. And let me tell you something. The only thing worse than losing a championship game is losing any game to a team coached by a woman. I'm telling y'all, these men was having tantrums. I mean, they went from like men will go from like asking for my phone number before the game, or if I'm just kind of hanging by the snacks concession stand because I used to coach 7-on-7. Like dudes would like they just get weird. They would hit on me or ask for my number or whatever, and then they realize I'm a coach and they're like, "Oh man, that's cool." Then they realize they got to play against me, and they still kind of like, "Yeah, Shawty, that's cool." And then I beat them, and then they don't even want to shake my hand. I'm like, "So you don't want my number? We not the date is out, okay, right?" So it's interesting out there, guys. And yes, sports is going to get touched. It's already being touched. It's just going to be very interesting to now see what the policies are going to be for like this new administration. And let's just be honest, like we can't be changing every 4 years, y'all. Find something and stick with it. Okay, just find something and stick with it. Now, the actual problem comes in enforcement. Like now, how do we enforce only women and girls playing in girl sports and women's sports? Okay, I say enforce it by. It just makes sense to me, like by the birth certificate. The only problem is that it has been a wacky 4 years or however many years. For real, it's been a wacky few years, let's be honest, where I don't know if parents are just being able to any, mini, miny, mo their child's birth certificate, where the kid is clearly a boy and you just want him to identify as a girl. Like, that's kind of what bothers me in this. Like, let's do the birth certificate, right? But also, there's a test called the bar test that I explained before, the chromosomes, the XXXY. No matter what the outward manifestation is, like if there's a XY boy, he's a male, right? He's got XY chromosomes. Um, if they have kind of some outwardly female characteristics, like I don't know, higher estrogen, a higher voice, right? Then it's just what it is, but that doesn't make him any less than a little boy. And these are just me. This is me thinking through these things in real time. Uh it's interesting. I got more questions than answers. Okay. If you leave it to me, I am a woman with the gift, many gifts, but one of them is to simplify very complex things. And so I'm going to hash out a policy and I'm going to let y'all know about that policy. Okay. So that's all I got for tonight. I just wanted to come on and literally talk. And what was I talking about? We just went ahead and jumped on into a very controversial subject, a subject that honestly hits on a lot of emotions just because people want to do what they want to do, right? Men feel like if they want to be women, they can be women, and we, society, should bend to whatever the heck they want. Women feel like if they want to be men, they want to be men, and we should bend to what they want. The only thing is that we don't have to bend to what you want. This we talk about the Constitution, they talk about constitutional rights, but we are a Christian, whether you like it or not, country with Christian values, and nothing in the Constitution allows you those types of freedoms. Do what you want, that's fine. But now the problem then comes in is that you now want our society to bend to what you want and to your perceived reality, right? And that's the issue. So now we got to come up with all these policies. And now that the Trump administration has said, hey, we got two genders, we're banning all this transsexual, transgender stuff. Now it's up to the states and private companies to walk back. That's a big part of this whole DEI controversy, right? If you want something, if you want somebody to, if you want some fire on something in America, you add race to it, right? But really, the underlying thing in this is the LGBTQIA plus situation. So we'll see. Okay. In the coming weeks, I will be researching, hashing out my own policies over here. Okay. And we'll see how far that goes. We'll see what we're going to do with it. I'm not anxious about nothing, but I'm very excited to see how sports reacts to this because I'm going to tell y'all the biggest proponents of DEI is sports. Sports. Yes, indeed, sports. So that's all I got for tonight, guys. I'm going to see y'all back here same time tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for having this chat with me. Leave me a comment if you agree or disagree. You know, it's America. For now, we have very free speech for now. So leave me a comment, y'all. And I love y'all to life, but Jesus love you more. And I'm out. Peace.